So, we were free, we were united, we were happy. But were we? We were growing weary about our current standings in land. It was getting a little bit crowded here in the colonies. We must expand westward. This abundance of land demands the voyage of those in look of a new home, a manifest destiny. Trails were set up to provide a safe but not easy passage to the West Territory of America. But where did the trails lead? The Oregon Trail led to, you guessed it, the Oregon Territory. At first, this territory was held by both the USA and the British, but as more American settlers came onto the land, Polk wanted the territory to all be a part of the USA. Britain did not agree with this, however, and a treaty was signed in 1846 declaring that the American territory ended at the 54th parallel. As settlers wrote back about Oregon, people became more enticed. Something called Oregon fever broke in. The trail's person load almost doubled in the span of a year. Another appeal of the West was the trading game. Spain originally outlawed trade with the American traders, but as Mexico won its independence, a trail to Santa Fe was set. Traders would go there to create a profit. The bag of a man passing through to trade was slit with a knife, and as gold and silver spilled out, word was spread about being able to make it big in Santa Fe. The Mormons believed in polygamy, but they were the elephant in the room. People got mad and violence was faced by the Mormons. The Mormon leader Joseph Smith was killed, leaving Brigham Young to be the new Mormon leader. As leader, he suggested taking the community to an uninterrupted area like Salt Lake City in Utah. This established the Mormon Trail, bringing the Mormons to a safe place to live and practice their religion in peace. But now that we'd arrived in the West, how are we to not go into anarchy? That problem was addressed by the Northwest Ordinance. One of the terms set was that as the population grew, territories would gain the right to self-govern. The terms were that if there were 5,000 free males in an area, people who owned 50 or more acres of land could elect an assembly, or 60,000 or more settled in an area, an application to become a state could be sent. Slavery was outlawed, and the freedom of religion and trial by jury were guaranteed. After the Mexican cession, we gained California, the home of the gold rush. The gold rush left the land from where the gold was mined barren and loose. Certain forms of collecting gold, such as spraying land with a hose, created harmful runoff, leaving many environmental problems from after the gold rush. But the effects on California weren't all bad. After nearly 250,000 people who traveled to California, the port of San Francisco was permanently changed into an economic giant. The population of San Francisco also in 5 years jumped from 400 to 35,000. The town housed so many Chinese immigrants that the amount of businesses run by the Chinese grew large enough for the neighborhood to be called Chinatown. But how did America receive California from Mexico? America, after argument about Texas's annexation, offered $25 million to buy Texas, California, and New Mexico. But after the offer was declined, this and many other arguments led to the war with Mexico, in which we were given the land with the success of war. As a pity payout, America decided to pay $15 million for the land, settle all claims, and promise to protect the inhabitants of Mexico. Some arguments about Texas's annexation were that if Texas was admitted as a slave state, the representation for slave states would be higher in Congress. Another problem was the disagreement of whether Texas ended at the Nueces River or the Rio Grande, which eventually was resolved and settled, ending at the Rio Grande. But who led the country at this point? Polk was elected almost out of the blue with an unexpected support. Polk was a strong believer in manifest destiny, and so if the acquisition of land cost war, then Polk was already sold. As foretold by the war with Mexico, even as he supported westward expansion, war was not to be made with Britain over Oregon. Considering Mexico might have been a better success rate, Polk's presidency was the one that fulfilled the goal of America reaching sea to shining sea. Before California was a territory of America, Mexico was afraid of American settlement. Land grants were rarely given to foreigners, but once a Swedish settler named John Sutter asked for land from the Mexican government, and with this charm he was given 50,000 acres of land. Upon the acquisition of this large plot of land, he wished to start an agricultural empire. and ask a carpenter to build a mill next to the river. As Sutter went to check out his mill, he observed an odd sparkle in the water. As his sight shifted down, he spotted gold.